Geopolitical dubases. We have temples, universities, even coins and ruins of various things of our great emperors. But do we still have palaces of the Mauryan emperors or the Cholas or the Kushans or the Karkotas or the Guptas where they used to live? What a fascinating question Geopolitical Dubey has asked. We have ruins in northern India of temples that date back thousands, at least clearly more than 2000 years. We have ruins of buildings that go back thousands of years. In the Saraswati Sindhu region, we have ruins of ancient cities that go back 5,000-6,000 years. But when it comes to the Mauryan era, which is 2,500 years before today, or the Kushan era, which is about 2,000 years before today, or the Gupta era, that is 1,500 years before today, or the Karkota era, which is about 1,300 years before today, roughly, or the Chola era, which is just 1,000 years ago. Where are the great palaces of these great kings? We have forts to some extent. We have a fort in, where is it, Bhatinda or something, which was built by Kanishka, but that's a fort, it's not a palace. A fort is not a palace. A fort is a fortified building with a garrison of soldiers inside and all those things. So first of all, Indians tend to conflate the two. A fort is a palace. No, forts are not palaces. So when it comes to the Mauryas, the capital was Patliputra, which is present-day Patna. And the ruins of Patliputra are kind of outside, in the vicinity of present-day Patna. There is no palace there. There's no palace. We know that some of the greatest emperors of our country, of our civilization, were the Mauryans. Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka Maurya, etc. Why is there no palace there? The Kushans, where they also had an incredibly powerful empire. Kanishka, the greatest of the Kushans, his empire touched the shores of the Caspian Sea and the Aral Sea. It also included the entirety of present-day Xinjiang, whatever it's called in Chinese, and of course much of India. So such a powerful emperor who had two capitals. One was, I believe, Mathura and one was Purushpur, which is present-day Peshawar. Where are the palaces? Where is Kanishka's palace? Why is there no palace? The Gupta emperors, they were some of the greatest emperors of all time. And their capital was Patliputra initially, and then later on it's somewhere else. Where was it? Mathura, was it? Somewhere else? But anyhow, there's no Gupta palace anywhere. The Karkotas. The Karkota dynasty was a short-lived dynasty based out of Srinagar. Where is the palace of Lalitaditya Muktapida? One of the greatest conquerors of all time. He conquered much of Central Asia and Tibet. Where's his palace? Why is there no palace in Srinagar? There's a temple on a hill, on the Shankaracharya hill in Srinagar. There's no palace. I mean, we know the Turkic invaders wanted to destroy all the temples, and still the temples tend to stand to some extent. We still know where the ruins of the universities are. But where are the palaces? The Cholas. The Cholas conquered the whole of Southeast Asia all the way to the Philippines. Surely they would have had palaces. Where are the palaces? What I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends, is that Indian emperors and kings did not have palaces. Their duty, their Raj Dharma or Dharma itself, was to serve the nation, the civilization, and the people. It was not to amass wealth for themselves. They would typically have lived in reasonably humble abodes. Obviously, there'll be a lot of fortification, there'll be a lot of security, and when you receive foreign dignitaries and all, ambassadors and all, you have to have a certain amount of dignity and opulence, but still they did not live in palaces. And this is something you see even in recent times. The Marathas had this enormous empire. They liberated India more or less from the Turks. Did they live in palaces? They had something called Shanivar Wada, which was a fortified encampment. There was no palace as such. It was not a palace. There was obviously some element of luxury and all that, but it was not a palace. When it comes to the great Queen Ahalyabai Holkar, did she live in a palace? No, she lived in a modest house. That house still stands. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Indian kings, and emperors, no matter how great and how powerful they were, they did not build opulent palaces and show that they were at a different level from the ordinary humans and all that. Try to prove me wrong. Find me any evidence of Kushan palaces, Mauryan palaces, Chola palaces, Karkota palace, or whatever. You will not find any.